vote.
So I'd like to add on to the providing the ethics information in the ordinance. And maybe we can note what are the steps that someone should take when they see that they need to recuse themselves. What does it look like exactly for them, for the steps to follow? And I'd say like before a meeting, so as they get a packet or as they come up against something. And for that to be another part of the memo that's...
Sure. So I can do that. I know back when the village board had adopted the amended ordinance, there was direction provided by the board to share the ordinance with all members, which Ethics Commission kind of reiterated with the recommendation to the village board. So what I had prepared was a memo that was distributed to all village covered individuals that highlights the ethical standards, the conflict of interest, and duty to report provisions. It does reference a fact that individuals should recuse themselves and cease deliberating as soon as they're aware of a conflict of interest, and if they have any questions, as soon as they are aware of any questions, to consult with either the village staff, village attorney, staff liaison, supervisor, if that's appropriate. So that direction has been shared with the village covered individuals, including village staff. We are planning to redistribute that in a way that every village covered individual will be required to read and sign off on acknowledging having read and understood the ethics ordinance, and can include a little bit more specific direction regarding the when those actions should be taken as early as someone is aware of a potential conflict.
Yeah, and I would say just as plain English as possible, including everything.
So
that
wait,
you're
I just
talking
want to make sure we're clear. Did you get the packet that Matt sent out to every board? Okay,
Yes,
and
we
in
have it.
there it's pretty.
I wouldn't say that.
No, what would you?
I think that we have a variety of commissioners coming from a variety of backgrounds. Not all of them are going to understand what was sent out. I understood it, but I do not think that it's necessarily going to be crystal clear to everyone who reads the ordinance language. I think some examples or a pattern of action, what a conflict of interest might look like in a hypothetical, and what you should do in that instance.
That's a good idea.
Because I just feel like we've got people coming from wide variety. We've got,
Well, that's helpful, Megan. I
and
mean,
off before it happens. Like
yeah.
instead of being, we legally provided, what we needed to,
right.
I mean, is this kind of covered off in their orientation?
But I think, Megan, yes, to answer your question, it should. It probably hasn't much. I don't know. I'm not in those orientations. But I think Megan probably brings up a good point. There's no examples, which I think does help people to understand what could be a conflict of interest.
Doesn't the IML have some?
Yeah, they have
I
a
think
book.
we should be
Just-
specific to our village code, but we can absolutely share that.
Well, I mean, it'll give them an idea about basic
Yes.
conflicts of interest, so they know at least to ask the question based on our ethics ordinance. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
because
But our
then-
motion is to distribute a summary memo, and the request is that the summary memo have some specific plain language examples. For example, you can't, if you think you might have a conflict of interest and might have to recuse yourself, that means recusing yourself from the discussion as well as the vote.
and that you might not
fair.
be in the room.
Right.
at that
Very,
time.
very good point also. What do you do? Are you supposed to just sit there, or are you supposed to not be there physically?
But that brings up an interesting point for Lance.
Yep.
So I'm sitting here and we're going to talk about something that I have a conflict with, okay? I recuse myself. I go sit there as resident River Forest. I still can't say anything?
Oh,
Or can
as
I?
Well, that's another
As a
question. Do you leave the
resident?
room?
Well, exactly.
Or do you sit there?
Yeah.
Erica said that. That's why I bring it
Right.
up. Is
So-
do I have to
Right.
leave the room, or do I say, hey, I'm no longer a commissioner here. I'm a resident River Forest and I have an opinion.
right. You're getting into a gray area. So
to work in that area a lot.
the law, it's really a three-step process that we sort of teach when you have this kind of what I call a common law conflict. One, you have to announce the conflict publicly. You have to say, I have this connection, I have this relationship, I'm in this line of work, and the applicant, I'm personal friends with this person, whatever it is. And then you have to state that because of that, I'm going to recuse myself. Then you must not, then the second step is not participate in the debate. There's nothing about leaving the room. I think you can get into a debate about whether someone's presence there can affect or body language or whatever else if someone really wants to be manipulative. But I think in many cases people do leave because they just, they're not trying to influence anything. But two, the question, to Trustee O'Connell's question, I'm still a resident. You mean I can't say anything? I think the point could be made validly, you can. Now, the question is, if someone were to feel like that were actually you participating in a debate, that could be what a court would do is look at all these issues and decide whether, if the vote came out, it should be nullified. So it has to be done over, if it's a zoning approval or whatever. That's the reality. And the reality is, even when there are conflicts of interest that are handled kind of badly or they're not acknowledged, it's rare to nullify a decision. So it's really more a matter of best practices. So I would say that if you have, as a resident, you feel like you want to be able, I would say the better practice is to have someone else make your point, to make sure your point is made, another resident but is someone going to say you're violating the law by not leaving the room and saying I'm speaking only as a resident now? I wouldn't do that. The First Amendment's stronger than that. But that's not to say someone couldn't claim that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
I think the goal here is to, avoid the gray area, avoid the appearance of impropriety. So why would we want to push it?
right. And I mean, maybe, there are hypotheticals or what about people, our commissioners, we know they're valuable volunteers. They all probably have important, work that they do to make a living. Some of those lines of work are fodder for these potential conflicts. And so, be aware if you're an electrician or if you're an architect and, you're a valuable member maybe of a plan commission or a zoning board or the DRB, but you may have connections with people or possibly even a future contract, and you need to be aware of that. And if there's any confusion about what you should do, and even if there's no confusion, talk to staff, because sometimes people are ready to recuse themselves when they don't really, they're all worried about how something might look, and it's not an issue. Like, oh, I can't vote on this variation. The person lives on my block, and I talk to him once in a while. Well, unless you have some deep connection to this and it affecting your own property where you think I'm biased about it, you don't have to recuse yourself, and you probably shouldn't if you can do a good job.
I think this is all very valuable information for our commissioners to have. So I'd love for them to be able to have some of the information that you're sharing with us now, because I'm not sure they will have considered it, or that they should come to staff, or that they can do that and get that opinion prior to a meeting. It's very valuable to have that resource at their disposal, and even just reminding them of that, I think is important.
Yeah, I think that was one.
That's documented, that sort of documents these things, kind of like what we're talking about.
They wanted the commission wanted staff to make sure that people are free and encouraged to call.
Yeah.
Just to talk about any
Right.
potential problems. So.
And I would also ask that we, the board, when something like this comes to us again, that we have the opportunity to listen to the audio of the meeting that we're making a decision based on prior to having to make the decision.
Was the audio not available? What was?
The audio of the meeting in question from the complaint was available. Any executive session would need to be listened to at Village Hall.
So it was
But
available.
that could be made available sooner.
So
So
the
what-
meeting
so
was,
the-
the
it was
meeting was
available.
September 9th, right?
Oh, the Ethics Commission meeting
Yeah.
was on September 9th.
Right.
Correct.
So that's when they went
Was it
into
made available
executive.
when?
So
when was it made available?
Well, the open session,
No, the
would-
No, executive session.
the
Yeah,
executive
so-
session.
So let me just, as a policy matter for the closed session, it's been my advice that, nowadays you can send copies of anything anywhere. And I believe that the safest thing is for there to only ever be one copy.
We agreed,
Yeah, and
Lance,
so
and
someone-
then so we agree. I
someone
think
would have
it
to
should only
come in.
be
Mhm.
heard at Village Hall.
Yeah,
because
so
that's
that
the
when
way
it's
it should be.
destroyed, we know it's destroyed.
And it's not altered.
Right.
So I'm asking, when was this available for the trustees to listen to?
The village board was provided with the information on the complaint over the weekend.
So this weekend?
Correct.
So what's the September 9th date, the August 8th dates? What are those dates?
September 9th was the Ethics Commission where they deliberated on the item. The August 8th date was the date that the complaint was originally filed.
So thank you. The reason I asked this question is when we had the conversation about the ethics debate and everything, and we talked about timeliness, I don't consider this timely.
You mean that, I'm trying to figure.
I don't consider August 8th to September 9th being not timely.
It isn't. That's exactly what Margie said. It isn't. And that's another issue. It should be 10 days.
So we got to tighten that one up too.
But yeah, we do. I agree.
Yeah,
But
so-
let's do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
We're talking about getting the audio out.
Yeah.
We didn't get the packet till Friday afternoon, and then there were additional pieces that came out on this over the weekend. I don't consider us to have been given an opportunity to have listened to the audio at Village Hall. You know. So what I'm asking is that in the future, before we're asked to discuss a matter, that we have a real opportunity to listen to the audio. And if the audio has to be listened to at Village Hall, all the more reason to give us more advance time.
And nobody's disagreeing.
Different topic from yours,
Yeah,
but
different topic,
valid.
same issue, but different, yeah. But I just want to make sure we're clear. Okay, it was late, but it was offered to you, right? I just want to know.
No.
I mean,
No.
it was.
I did not specifically
would-
offer
Oh,
that.
okay.
I
All right.
I shared the other documents to achieve that same result under the points
Okay.
taken, and I think future
All right.
complaints will be handled.
And I think
as
I
such.
emailed asking for it,
For this audio?
for the audio. I'll
Oh,
check.
well, could you send us that email?
That might be the case. I'm sorry if
Yeah.
I missed
Yeah.
it.
Oh, we need to see the email that she sent. And I think, well, I mean, we got to, if something gets wrong, we got to catch it. And Bob, your point is, yeah, I mean, I don't know what caused the 30 days.
There was a vacancy on the Ethics Commission during that period.
Okay.
So the acting ethics chair wanted to wait for the next appointee to be there. So that's what led to some of the delay there.
That's legitimate.
That's fine.
Very legitimate. Thank you.
So, Matt, in the future, we would expect that timeline to be faster if there were another complaint.
Correct. The code that does 10 business days for that initial review to be held. And then there's separate language that initial review should be, the Ethics Commission should come to their ruling as quickly as possible. So yes, that would be the intention,
Okay.
to be closer to that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. I know it's a lot. You guys are going with a fire hose here, and so you're doing a great job. It's just that there are things that we have to button up, and we know that. Okay.
Can we
I'm
talk?
so.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Erica.
Yeah, because she was cutting me,
Yeah.
so she didn't want to do that. The other item that I would like to bring up then too is just from a staff perspective. If we see something that's being put together in a packet and recognize, I think that's an opportunity for staff to maybe make a reach out to an appointee or whoever, that there's a potential conflict of interest. And we've got the ethics information, the filing that we provide to the state. And then I don't know if we do right now, but we might want to ask for like what organizations or something like is someone with the tennis club comes to mind, right? And that way we're just more on top of it. And like, again, it
Yes.
doesn't get to a point.
Yeah, no, that you make a great point, and that is something that we want to make sure we ensure that we clear and understand. So, good point.
But I guess I don't disagree with that. I just think that maybe there's a form of training that will identify for all these
With-
issues that,
Yeah.
hey, if you get a contract with someone,
Right.
you got to look to see if, somehow someone affected to it.
I'm not
something
saying
along
it is on staff to do
Okay.
it, but
Yeah.
if we can make it,
No.
if the staff sees something. Right?
No, I agree with
Yeah,
that.
if you see
I'm just
something.
saying
That's
that,
how
but
I saw it.
also put,
Yeah.
there's training out there for
Yeah.
boards, and I think board members, commissioners have to take responsibility too to learn about
Agree.
conflicts and how to avoid them. So that's all I'm adding.
Correct, and we certainly will
Yeah.
make a concerted effort to catch any potential conflicts as they become apparent to us. Wish that it had become apparent to us sooner in this case, and maybe
Right.
Yeah,
we
where it's,
wouldn't
where
have
it's,
this conversation.
where it's obvious,
All right.
staff does raise these issues ahead of time. The tennis club comes to mind that we're
Yeah, that's a
to
great-
make sure.
Yeah, we've already
these-
sought some advice on that upcoming plan development
So-
hearing.
But sometimes these things lurk, so you need
Without
the
a doubt.
individuals to police yourselves.
I don't
and
di- I don't
It's got to
disagree.
be a
Yeah.
kind of a team effort.
Yeah, good points. Very good point.
So can we also address some of the other questions that the resident asked about, I think more on this ethics complaint? Bob, you hit one of them, which was the timing. So that was good. I tried to write them down quickly. They came quickly. One was that I wrote down was only ethics commission members can view the complaint initially. I think that's what was said, and I don't know.
I think I could speak to that.
Yeah.
There was a
Okay.
question about who receives the initial complaint, and then there was a statement about village being able to access that complaint. The form for ethics and the ethics email only go to the chair of the ethics commission. That is what's stated in the village ordinance. There's also language in the village ordinance about any individuals that were not given proper access to view that confidential complaint being in violation of the ordinance. And we would take that very seriously if any village staff member or official were to reach out or try and interfere or access information on the ethics complaint. So that ethics complaint went directly to the ethics chair, who notified me and requested the information to take the steps necessary to begin that initial review.
Yeah, it was the email also. So thanks for remembering that. Yeah, okay. And then I guess there was a question about whether the closed session for the Ethics Commission was justified.
Right, so that goes back, so the Ethics Commission believes that closed session to keep the anonymity and confidentiality is necessary to do this initial review. If it ever becomes public, any hearing, if notification to all parties was required, would be open. But this initial review, they feel, needs to be done in closed session, or it's pointless to have it be anonymous. The only way to do that is in closed session. So the best exception to go into closed session is to consider evidence. They are a quasi-judicial body when they sit that way, and to consider that. Now they, in their view, and in my view, the ordinance's view, they are not a final determinator of anything. And that includes this dismissal issue. It should go no further. It's the board that's makes the final determination, and the board needs enough evidence to either accept or reject that recommendation. And so Matt and I, as Matt said, the confidentiality for anyone necessary to get enough information is going to be taken seriously, but you have to have enough information to make that call. And that is why I said it was okay to give you that information. And if the Ethics Commission could go into closed session to make sure that they were, what do we do? Should this move forward or not? Then you must be able to too, for that limited purpose.
Okay,
That's
thanks.
my analysis.
Thank you. And then I don't think I caught all of the items, but the last item that was asked about was our village board meeting. I guess it was, we went into executive session, setting a price for sale, purchase of real estate only, and the question, I'm not sure that I captured the question correctly. You might remember better than I do. But my notes say she asked about only adding a new topic for transparency.
Yeah.
We're only allowed to add
I
it.
think the comment was, we went in also to discuss the contract of the village administrator.
Oh, it was
And that-
added.
And that was, yeah.
Okay.
And that's under, right, and then that's also setting a price on the real
Right.
estate.
So
And-
in my opinion, so there are two kinds of meetings you hold: special meetings and regular meetings. So for special meetings, any topic that's not listed on the agenda can't be discussed. Okay, so even if it's brought up, public brings it up as part of public comment, which you have to have at every meeting, we can't talk about it at all if it's a special meeting. For a regular meeting, anything's fair game that has to do with public business, as long as you can't, if it's not on the agenda, you can't take final action on it. You can discuss it to your heart's content, and even give staff direction to bring back an ordinance or whatever. That's fine, even if it's not on the agenda at all. As to closed session does not have to be on the agenda as something that's going to happen legally. It doesn't need to be there at all. One trustee on a particular item that's on the agenda would say, I'm not comfortable talking about this in open session. Is it legally possible to go into closed session? And then they might ask on the spot, and I could give an opinion. And if that trustee makes a motion supported by what the exception is and gets a second, and there's a roll call vote, we go into closed session. Doesn't have to be on the agenda at all. The reason it's put on agendas, like as it's planned as a closed session, is so the public knows. So they aren't left sitting there going, oh, I wish I would have known there was a closed session. I wouldn't have bothered coming, or I would have come later, or whatever it is. So it's done, I think, as a convenience, but it's not required.
Yeah, we've been doing it for a long time.
Correct.
All right.
That's helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to add to that, though. I think that, again, we're talking about the legality of something versus giving the public information that might be valuable to them on what we are discussing. And
Right.
so for that reason, I think the question makes sense. And, are we being transparent about what we're
Sure.
talking about versus the legality of
Sure.
it?
So,
Of course.
so let me just
I
make,
think-
we've been doing this for years, putting this on the executive session so that we could be transparent. We've never done it where, hey, let's go into executive session, not tell the
Right.
public. In my 13 years, I've never done it, never seen it. At least I can't remember. So, I agree with you, Erica. We would always do this to make sure that we tell the public what's going on.
Was it on the agenda, though? I know that was the meeting that.
Yeah,
There was
The phrase executive session was on there.
yeah.
Executive session was on there,
Correct.
Right.
and it was for the contract, and it said for the development as well.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Did not say.
It-
No,
it
because there
didn't-
was
it didn't- it
because there
didn't
was
even-
no action.
It didn't even
proposed to
say.
be
It
taken.
didn't even say to discuss his contract.
It didn't say to.
Because it's
Trustee O'Connor, sorry to interrupt. There was an item on there listing for the approval of the employment contract because there was a plan for there to be action taken after executive session.
Yes.
Now, there's been several times where we discuss things that are confidential, union negotiations, litigation, other things that are included that don't have formal action, and those we don't list. We don't.
Right.
We have not listed on the agenda.
Right. All right, I'd like to take the vote on this action, please, this motion. Okay, we're taking a vote right now.
Okay.
Okay, so let's, Rosa, please take the. Yeah, well, once we take the vote, we'll,
Okay. Vote on action based on executive session regarding Ethics Commission recommendation. Trustee Bachner?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Cascatello?
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Trustee O'Connell?
yes.
okay. So, we're, okay, let's take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Cascatello?
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Trustee O'Connell?
Yes.
Trustee Bachner?